you say everything to them, but you have to add this to them. You let every buyer know that hey, if I send you a deal and it does not work for you, okay, please don't feel offended. I want your feedback. To do better in their business, but I also have to
I don't know how to do it.
You know, so Miss Tammy B says, what is that one thing not to say to a buyer when you are looking to build a buyer's list?
Tammy, that's a good question. That's a good question. And you can kind of go at it a couple of different ways. I've heard a lot of people say, don't mention that you're a wholesaler. But I think mentioning that you're in a wholesaler is to your advantage. Let that buyer know, like, hey, I'm actively looking for properties. So tell me what you're looking for. And if I find something, I want to bring it to you. The one thing that you probably shouldn't say is you don't want to come off as cocky as if you know what you're doing, because these buyers, they like having their ego stroked a little bit, right? So you want to come to them like, hey, I want to help you. So this is what I'm doing, and I want to bring value to you. So it's not what you shouldn't say, but just always bring value to them, because they like to be in a position of power, kind of, and they want you to be able to help them out, if that makes sense.
100%. And actually, I want to add to that is I would actually say there's not one thing not to say. It's you say everything to them, but you have to add this to them. You let every buyer know that hey, if I send you a deal and it does not work for you, okay, please don't feel offended. I want your feedback. Okay, you might not get the deal, okay, but the thing is that you want all that feedback, because that tells you if enough buyers are telling you the exact same thing, that tells you where the market's at. And that's how you get your idea on what's the market. And say you're at $100,000 on a property. We're just using round numbers, for example, and they're like, listen, I'm only going to be able to be at 80 because of X, Y, Z, things like that. Well, listen, you can't sell it to anybody else. Nothing's happening. You go back to the seller and say, hey, because of X, Y, Z, we need to get a price reduction. I can probably get this down. If we can meet at 70 or 75, if you just want to be able to make $5,000, whatever your profit is, then we can close within 2 weeks. Now you go back to the buyer that gave you that option, that price, and say, if we close this right here at that 80, how about it? Right now, we closing, great. And I've had that happen to me. So I always want feedback.
Yeah, just to bounce off that, feedback from your buyers is so important, because they're the eyes. They're the one. It's their money, right? They're the one with the money. You're just negotiating the deal. So what they say is vitally important. And also, one might give you feedback and say, hey, this doesn't work for me. I'm looking for this. But another person can say, oh, that's perfect. So now you know, okay, if I get a deal like this, I need to bring it to him. If I get a deal that fits his idea, his or her idea, I need to take it to him or her. So one of those things where that feedback is so important.
No, 100%. I agree. And I think is what has made me successful in our Detroit market, is telling all my buyers, because they're used to, and this is the worst thing a wholesaler can do, is when they get lowballed, they just scuff and okay, on to the next person.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many other wholesalers do that. They scuff. Oh no, I can't do that. And on to the next. Well, what you need to be doing is asking them why they are that low. What's going on? Now, if they're sitting here telling me, what do you have it on your contract for? What do you want? What's your fee? What's this? You don't need to know my fee. I want to know what it works for you. Okay. You'll know it at closing. I don't really care about that. But what price does it make it work for you? Then
Exactly.
I'll try to figure it out.
Exactly.
If I can get a price reduction, I will. But if I can't, great. Now I know where you're at on the next property, and then the next one, So I've had that before where a buyer just will just ghost me, and hey, what about that Farmington Hills property? And we're like, well, we're going to be really low, so we're going to pass. Okay, what is really low? Give me all the feedback.
Yeah.
They were 35 grand under what was asking. Great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Exactly.
Now I know where you're at for the next one.
That feedback is mightily, mightily important.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view.